Good morning, everybody. This is Mark, and we're back here for the morning call. It's Tuesday. As we said earlier, it's an abbreviated week, Thanksgiving. So we have tomorrow, which will be slow because a lot of people will be out, and then we're off on Thursday, half a day on Friday, which will probably be a little bit of a ghost town. But overall, this market has been hanging in here. Today we got a little bit of a ding in the tape. I'm sort of wondering if it's just a distraction or if it's just a normal digestion that's happening. What I see as the main reason we're down a little bit is maybe we just need it because we had a big week last week, or the geopolitical news of Turkey shooting down a Russian a fighter plane, with warning because they crossed into their territory. But we'll have to wait and see how that plays out. Either way, we've been saying it. There's a few stocks that really most of us tend to sort of lean on these down days, and everything else, quite frankly, not in play or really just lackluster across the board. So let's get to the indices a little bit. I want to see us hold really 207.10 to really not fail this level, and I think we're probably fine. You might get, some excited shorts if you get below that level. If not, I think it might just be one of those type of days with digestion. I think early on you're going to have to wait and see really what happens. That's on the spiders, Qs. I see Amazon, Google, a little of them down. I really don't have, I have a few positions, but nothing's big on my book. But I do hold a few core positions that I still like, and on these pullbacks, I'd look at them for opportunities. So we'll see what the Qs do. But let's go back to some stocks. Amazon had a new high yesterday. It's been a go-to stock all year. It's now down. I think it was $8-9 this morning. Still very, very contained. Even with a down day, down $10 because it was up $10 yesterday. So again, if you can't handle the gyrations, you probably shouldn't be in the stock in the first place. As long as it holds its, this key moving average around 8 day, I think it's fine, at least on the short term. So you have to wait and see. Would I be the first one buying it right off the bat? No, I'd let to see the market. I want to see if the market can hang in there. I want to see if these stocks have any sort of a life to them. If not, I think you just avoid for a day or two. And let them digest. Google, same type of idea. Had a little bit of a, indecision yesterday. So a little down action is not out of the cards, or sideways action to help to form a new flag. It's not as extended as Amazon, but again, it's one of those go-to stocks that I think people have been looking at consistently. Facebook, we talked about. You got to buy out on a pullback. My price point in my trade of the week is around 108, so we really haven't gotten there yet. From a trading perspective, 105, 106 is probably where I would get a little bit more involved. I'm a little bit long overnight personally, but nothing to hang my hat on. I'm just sort of watching it. We'll have to wait and see how it trades. Yesterday was lethargic. It didn't do anything, quite frankly. We went down a little bit, acted weak, never really gained any footing. So you have to wait and see today. I'd like to see it, make sure it holds the 21-day, which again I think is at 104.70 or something to that effect. If not, it could go down a little further. Either way, it's one of the best in breeds. I'm not that concerned, but you really got to look at it on a smaller time frame to see if you should be involved. Either way, NFLX, same type of idea. We're waiting for that one. 5 days, 6 days in a row up. A down day or two is not out of the cards. 120 probably is a place I would look to get involved. And if you're short, look for that level to possibly cover. Some of the Chinese guys, we'll put BIDU up there for a second, hanging. That's what happens. We digest, we have a good week, and then we come back down a little back and filling. It's not out of the cards. So people just have to respect the fact that that's how this market trades at this point. With an abbreviated week also, it probably exasperates it. So, BIDU, QUIHU, NTES, technically on the daily, they all look great. Probably a little extended, NTES especially. So we'll have to wait and see if that shows up. And that had a little bit of a reversal bar in the daily. So I think it could come back down to 155 pretty easily after a big move from 140. So keep that in mind. BABA, same thing, hanging. We'll have to wait and see. As long as it holds 78, 50, 79, it's probably fine. But it's not the go-to that everybody loves. TSLA, I think it's still stuck in this range that I haven't loved it from the long side, but at the same time I haven't really traded from the short side. I just look for specific spots to get involved one way or another. Nothing really on a price point for me to get involved with. Price line, you know, had a nice bounce, came back in. I want to see it, make sure it holds this level, which I think is the 200-day. So let's, you know, 1240-ish, and I think you're fine. But, you know, you want to see it make a higher low, and that's what this would be. And then I think it probably can go, you know, grind a little higher. Not the best looking chart out there either across the board. Some other bios, you know, looked okay yesterday in the AM, but the AM, we know how that goes. It's fast and furious. They came back in. I'm not sure what's happening today. I'm assuming they're down a little bit, but I didn't really take a look on the IBBs. I know VRX, Ackman took a bigger stake. It's up a little bit, but yesterday was the day you had to take your trade, and now probably basis for at least, you know, through the holidays, I would imagine. Maybe a little lower, you can probably get involved. I think the bottom's probably in at this point in time, at least temporarily, unless other crazy news comes out. And so I think looking to buy on the pullback selectively is probably the place for this type of stock. Under Armour, Nike, the only retailers that, in my opinion, probably right now really count, maybe Restoration Hardware, a few other randoms. Had a nice rally. Under Armour probably comes back in a little bit. A little digestion, maybe a flag forms on a bigger time frame for it to go higher, but no real trade. Nike, you know, holding at highs, obviously after that news last week with increased dividend and I think it's a 2-for-1. So hanging at highs, but you know, no real trade for us to get involved with. Banks, just to briefly cover, I haven't really loved them. You know, I know with interest rate hikes on the horizon, they probably are going to be a buying opportunity at some point in time. Technically, this is Goldman. Nothing there that's telling me it's today. But again, if you're a trader, you probably buy, you know, what you like on pullbacks versus just chasing new highs. That's a tough way of trading in this tape. But I don't know if today is going to be that type of day. And you can just look at, you know, Citi, JP, Wells Fargo. They're really just stuck in ranges. Oil, it's been so lackluster. It did have, you know, some of the OIH rally a little bit. I saw Chevron rally a little bit. But at the same time, no conviction buy, no real trend, in my opinion. It's just really stuck in a range. So I think it's just an avoid for the time being. I know the biotech at the moment, a lot of people are looking at KBIO, down I think 7 today. That's a tough one. That's for the faint of heart. You know, normally how these things work, and this is, you know, I barely traded. I traded it once yesterday. I read it the other day. Is, you know, it's a gap down 7. A lot of times, if it can't rally, the stock could get back to 25 very quickly. So just keep that in mind. They don't let everybody in, and they don't ring the bell all the time that quickly. But just you know, food for thought. So overall, guys, I think this digestion is actually healthy. I don't think the shorts should get out and, you know, beat their chest yet. I don't think it's that point. I think it's an abbreviated week. You have to wait and see the first hour 2, how we play out. I want to see high beta hang in there. Doesn't mean I'm going to be adding to my longs, but if it doesn't hang in there, obviously I'll lighten up with the few positions I do have. But overall, I don't think anything's changed on a macro scale. I just think this has put a little bip in this market, which I think is actually healthy because they all create opportunities. Just like yesterday afternoon, everybody gets so bearish for, you know, an hour that we come down, and it looks terrible. But if you actually just, you know, looked at the best in breed, most of them bounced either to highs or 3/4 of the way back. The ones that stink, the charts that aren't in play, some of the banks, they don't bounce. They don't do anything because they're not in play. So you just got to go with stuff that you find comfortable as a trader, you're comfortable being in, and you can find ways to add conviction. And like I said, I want to see the spiders hold that 207.10-ish in order to really feel comfortable that these longs should hang in there. And if not, we could have another down day or two, which would not surprise me at all. But overall, I think we're fine. We're intact. We had a big week last week. You got to expect some back and filling, which is what's happening right now. So good luck today. You'll hear me on the radio if you stay tuned, and I will talk to you later.